Hello everyone, it's averydawnside and welcome back to another video. You're probably slightly confused because this is not my normal look at all or my starter horse. Surprise surprise, we are on my alternate account. So I'm gonna be honest, I've been really unmotivated to train my alternate accounts, but I figure I should, especially since Star Stable released the whole 1 week free for Star Rider, and my goal is to get my account like pretty high level, so we're at level 6 right now. But yes, this is my alternate account, ⴕdawnside. It is located on the North American server Nightstar. I know a few of you have come up to me before while I've been training, like, oh, are you a part of averydawnside? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like,
no, you're not.
And I'm like, yeah. So this is your confirmation that this is my alternate account. But anyways, that's not the point of today's video. So today I'm going to be training my alternate account and we're going to be doing a reputation rambles, and I'm going to be telling the story of how I discovered Star Stable and just my Star Stable journey in real life. So this is not RP, but this is IRL. But yeah, so this is going to be my Star Stable journey in real life. So to start off this video, I got this idea because the other day I was on the phone to my really good friend, Ava Clearwood, you guys know, and I was like, you know, I really just want to know when when my account was created. So on a whim, I decided to email Star Stable by going to support and saying I have a question about my account and asking them, like, kind of explaining, like, I have a YouTube channel and I really want to be able to celebrate an anniversary of my account. Could you possibly tell me when it was created? And kind of proud of myself because I started a trend, I think, by doing this, by emailing them, because I've seen a couple bigger YouTubers and more people knowing when their account was created after I did this. So I don't know if that was me, but if it is, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Anyways, so my account was created on June 16th, 2013. And okay, we're gonna start questing while I begin the explanation of this. So let's start with the explanation of my account. So like I said, it was created on June 16th, 2013. I was 11 years old when it was created, and that's so crazy, like, thinking that I've been playing this game since I was 11. So it all started when I used to play on this website, and it used to be called Mary.com or like Girls Go Games, I think. And I used to play like a bunch of like mini games there. I really liked all the horse games on there. I'd always been obsessed with horses since I was just a kid, and like I always wanted to play like horse games and like take horse riding lessons, but I never really got the chance to. So, you know, to fill that void, I played a bunch of horse games online, and I could never find one that like really fit me until I found Star Stable. And the way that I found Star Stable was, so I was obviously playing on the Mary.com. I can't tell you what I was playing, but I remember on the right side of the screen there was an ad, and this ad always popped up, and it was for Star Stable. If I can find a picture of the ad, I'm gonna try to. I will post it here, but if I can't, that's okay. But I always saw this ad, and like I wanted to do it, except I was afraid of downloading things on my computer because I was so young and I didn't want to ask my parents, because, you know, people are afraid of downloading things, which I totally understand. We have to be really careful, and we don't want like malicious malware on our computers or anything. So they were really hesitant. I was really hesitant. I was like, it's okay. So flash forward, a couple months goes by, and I just kept seeing this ad, and I was like, you know what, I just want to try it. So I got my dad to help me, and he like put in the computer password. And keep in mind, this is like way back when I was younger. We had a family desktop that I used to play on in my living room, and like I remember I had a timer on there where I could only be on the computer until 9 p.m. and then after that the computer would log me out regardless of whether I was online or not. So that was a little more frustrating, but so yeah, I used to play there all the time, and we downloaded it. And I remember, true story, this is the only vivid memory I have of my old Star Stable days, but the first time the game opened, you know how it kind of opens to a black screen before it enters the loading screen after you've logged in? So that black screen happened, and I freaked out because I was like, oh my goodness, it broke my computer. So I quickly turned off the computer, like the shutdown thing, and I did this a couple times before I realized that it was a part of like the loading screen, if that makes sense. And then I was like, okay, we just have to let this happen. So flash forward, I finally get into the game and I'm like, this is so cool. And it was so different back then, let me tell you. Like, this was like very new Star Stable. Like, Star Stable I think had only been around for a year, maybe 2 years at this point, and it was really, really new. So the graphics were nothing like they are today. Like, this was when you couldn't have more than one horse. This is when there was no personal home stable. Like, I have been an OG Star Stable for a really long time. So that is kind of how I found Star Stable. Couldn't tell you how I created the name averydawnside. I really don't remember any of that. I'm really glad that I picked the name averydawnside. I got really lucky. No, my name is not Avery. Avery is just a name that I've always liked. I kind of wanted to name one of my kids Avery when I got older. It's always been on like this name list that I have of names that I like, and I've always wanted to name a kid Avery, but you know, I don't think I'll do that now because it's kind of like my alternate persona and I feel like that would be weird. But that is a little background on how I chose Avery. Don't know where Dawnside came in, but honestly, kudos to 11-year-old me because she had pretty good style in name picking, if I do say so myself. Like, props to her. And so Avery Dawnside was born on June 16th of 2013. I think I'm gonna make that my character's birthday because like that is the day she was kind of born. Anyways, and yeah, so, and as for like my starter horse's name, Wild Shadow, I think I just thought it sounded cool. So that's the background of that. So flash forward, the same year that I started playing Star Stable, 2013, is also the year that I started riding. So my birthday is in August, and I started playing Star Stable in June. So I played all summer, and I think honestly Star Stable was a part of the reason that my parents were like, okay, yeah, we should get this girl riding lessons, because I played all the time that summer. Like, I remember playing Star Stable super late at night, trying to figure ways to get around like the 9 p.m. shutdown computer time, and like I just played all the time and I loved it. So for my 12th birthday, I believe it was, my parents surprised me with, actually no, it was my sister. My sister surprised me with my first horse riding lesson, and from then on, the rest is history. I started taking consistent lessons at the barn that I'm still at today, and everything was really good. Honestly, I would say 12-year-old me, that was really prime time, and I had a lot of fun. So that's where things, I guess, start to get a little bit blurry, is after that year. So flash forward a few years into the future. I've been riding for a few years. I've been playing the game for a few years. I didn't really join any clubs. I didn't talk to anyone. I really just played the game to play the game. And I wasn't really involved in anything like Star Stable community-wise. I didn't even know Star Stable YouTube was a thing, or like I didn't really know that it was a community. It was just a game to me. And so flash forward a few years, I'm a little bit older. I would say I was like 14 maybe, or 14 or 15. And so the first story of me taking my break from Star Stable is the desktop that I used to play on in my living room broke. So it honestly wasn't like a decision that I stopped playing. It broke, and I didn't have my own personal computer or laptop at that time, so I didn't have anything to play on. And at this point, my void was filled, like horses wise. I had played Star Stable for a really long time, but like I said, I had started riding in real life at that time too, so like my void was pretty much filled. So not playing didn't bother me as much because I didn't have friends in the game. It was just a game to fill the void, and like I said, that void was filled. That void was filled. And so I just kind of stopped playing. It fizzled out. I was getting older. I was, finishing up middle school, going to high school, and I was like, okay, like I didn't really think much of it. So flash forward away from Star Stable. I hadn't played in a couple years. I finally got my own laptop, and I remember like it was just kind of a nostalgia thing for me. I've like gone back and played other games that I used to play, but with Star Stable, I like tried so many times. I remember like here and there from the time I was probably 14 to around the time that I was 18, I tried here and there to get in on like different computers, and I finally got my own laptop, but it wasn't compatible with Star Stable. And I did try to get into the game because I wanted to play for nostalgic purposes, but I was never able to get into the game. So that kind of prevented me too from playing because I just really didn't have anything to play on. Okay, so now flash forward into my real life, and I was around 15 at the time. So probably about a year and a half after I had stopped playing Star Stable. I was still riding in real life, and a lot of things in my life were happening, a lot of very personal things. I was going through a dark time in my life, and I'm not going to get into specifics of it, but it is something that kind of turned my world a little bit upside down. But I actually stopped riding, and like I was just in a pretty dark place at this time in my life, and I stopped riding. I just really wasn't in tune or connected with who I was and like why I loved horses, and I just went through this time where things were pretty difficult and I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted horse-wise, and so I stopped playing all horse games. I quit riding, and it had a lot to do with like confidence and things, but like I said, I also had personal things going on, but that is not for this channel to know. So I quit riding, or I won't say I quit. I decided to take a break from riding, and at the time it was like, yeah, I'm gonna take, 2 months off and see if I come back and I like it. I also just realized I went to the wrong place. And so 2 months turned away from riding in real life, turned into 2 years, and 2 years turned into 4 years, and flash forward to college. So I had gotten into the college of my dreams, and I was, having a good time. And then the wonderful, terrible sickness occurred, and I'm kind of making this video now too because it's been a year since I joined back into the Star Stable community, which I realized the other day, and that's crazy. So I'd stopped playing, I'd stopped riding in real life, I hadn't ridden in 4 years, I hadn't played in like 5 or 6 years, and it had been a while. Like I had really lost my connection to horses, which is crazy to think because it's changed my life so much now, but I just really wasn't connected to horses. And so that is where the sickness comes in. So I was in my freshman year of college when it occurred. It was our second semester, and it honestly came out of nowhere. And one week my university was like, yeah, everything's fine, and then 4 days later they told us that we had to move out of our dorm. In between those 4 days though, we were all kind of just stuck living in our dorms with our roommates and stuff like that, and there wasn't a whole ton to do. So I one day was just like, oh, I'm gonna see, like, I'm kind of curious, I'll just play some games on my computer. And it made me think of Star Stable, and I was like, I wonder if they're compatible with Macs, because I had gotten a MacBook for obviously going off to university, and lucky enough, the game was compatible with my Mac. So I went ahead and downloaded it, and I logged into averydawnside for the very first time in about probably 5 to 6 years. Let me tell you, that was one of the weirdest feelings of my life. I just felt this wave of flashbacks and emotions because things were so familiar to me, but also so different, because this was before there were any character updates. This was before I had quit, was when we had the old starter horses, no character updates, old graphics, very old Star Stable was what I remembered. So when I logged back in, I was like, what went on? How did this all change? And so I started playing, and I really liked it. And keep in mind, I wasn't our star rider. I didn't become a lifetime star rider until I joined back this year. So when I was younger, I used to pay for, or my parents used to gift me the 3-month star rider for holidays and stuff, and my birthday, and I just kind of relied on that. And that was a huge reason why I stopped playing as well, because, it's really hard to play when you're not a star rider. And yeah, so I joined back this year, or last year, and I wasn't a star rider, so I just kind of enjoyed the game and walked around and played, and yeah, but I quickly became addicted to it once again, and I realized how much I had missed it. And honestly, it came into my life at the perfect time because I had really missed riding horses since I had decided to take that break, and I didn't anticipate that break to be as long as it was, being as I hadn't ridden in 4 years. So Star Stable again started to fill that void of me missing like riding horses in real life. And so I started playing Star Stable. I decided to buy myself 1 month of Star Rider. And I remember doing this. I was like, oh, like I'm in college. Like I don't even know if people my age play this game. Like, is this a waste of money? Like, is this childish? And I just, yeah. But I did it, and I did a lot of quests. I had a ton of quests to make up for. To put it in perspective, I'm pretty sure I logged onto the game, and my player was level 12, and my starter horse wasn't even maxed. Like, yeah. I had played for a while, but back then there weren't a ton of quests available, so pretty low. And so during that month, it was the beginning of everything going on. I had a ton of time. I was sent home from living on campus, and I was at home, and I just played Star Stable for so long. So I was able to level up to, I think, level 18 or 19, and during this time, I logged in and my account had like 200 star coins. Don't know where they came from, but I was saving up, and I was like, oh. And that's when I saw ⴑⴇ and I saw Tilly specifically, and I was like, I'm gonna save up for that pony. I love that pony because I only had all of the old horses I had bought when I was younger, but I had no new horses. I just had my updated starter horse. So I think back then I literally rode around on the oldest horses, and people were like, why are you riding old model horses? Like, they would say that in Say Chat in the game, and I'm like, oh wow, like I didn't realize they were old. Anyways, I'm getting so off topic with these, but yeah, so I was saving up for Tilly, and I remember like my 1 month of Star Rider was coming to an end, and the day before it came to an end, I decided to just go and jump in and buy Lifetime Star Rider. Okay, this is actually a really funny story because I bought Lifetime Star Rider, and this was the time I had lost my job due to the sickness, and things were not looking too hot for me financially. And so I bought Lifetime Star Rider kind of on a whim, and then I was like, I shouldn't have done that. Emailed Star Stable to undo the transaction, which they did. Then I emailed them again and said I wanted to repurchase it. Thank you, Star Stable support, for being so willing and kind to me during that time, because I was so indecisive. That really shows my indecisiveness. And so I had officially bought Lifetime Star Rider, and I was really happy, but also like really conflicted at that time because I didn't know about like older players, and I just felt super, super weird like playing this game at 18 at the time. So yeah, then I was still busy catching up on all the quests that I had missed for 4 years, which took a long time, as you can imagine. And during that time, I was doing one of the quests, and I just literally could not figure it out. I think it was like a glitch or something, and I was like, what is going on? So I Googled it, and when I Googled it, I then discovered Star Stable YouTube, which is where it all really began. So I discovered that there was this entire community on YouTube that were older players like me who had played when they were younger and like got back into it and made YouTube channels. And like one of the first like real like videos that I watched was like a questing game, and then I started watching Hannah Ogletree and Violet Flower Garden, and I was like, oh my gosh, like these people are all my age, like still playing the game and like making an entire like YouTube thing out of it. And I was like, I could do that. Like, that looks like a lot of fun. And this is when I had finally finished all my 4-year quest catch up. Wasn't in a club, wasn't really interested in joining a club, didn't really understand the whole club thing. Now I do, and I'm hoping to join a club soon, or in the future at some point. And so I was like, you know what? I really like Star Stable YouTube, and I specifically really like the realistic roleplay aspect because also I wasn't riding in real life at this time, which I'm going to get into. So on May 28th of 2020, averydawnside YouTube channel was born. Yay! And that's where my YouTube journey really started. It wasn't something that I was going to take super seriously at the time, but it turned into something really quickly that I really loved, and it filled the time because I had so much time because we were in lockdown and just so much was going on. So yeah, I started my YouTube channel and I didn't really think much into it. But then let's get back into another huge part of my life. I'd been playing Star Stable for a while, started my YouTube channel, really loved it, and I was like, you know what? I just want to go back to horses. I want to go back to riding. I want to overcome my fears and my anxieties, and I just really, really miss it. So on a whim, and this was like one of the hardest things I think I've ever really done, because a lot of you might not know this about me, but I'm a super anxious person. I'm diagnosed with panic disorder, so it's really hard for me to just like jump into things and overcome it, because it's super intimidating for me. But so I just did it. I just took the leap like I did with Lifetime Star Rider, and I messaged my old trainer to see if she was A, open during lockdown, and B, if she had any spots, because my barn at the time when I was younger was super busy. And she got back to me, and she did. And so in June, and I'm pretty sure it was like the end of June, which is funny because that was around my Star Stable anniversary, and I didn't even know, I went back and I had my first riding lesson since 4 years ago, when I decided to take that break that went on for a really long time. And honestly, my first lesson back went super well. Like, muscle memory kicked in. I wasn't even expecting to canter my first lesson back, but I did some small cross rails even. Like, I did some jumping, and I was like, wow, like it all really just came back to me. And it was one of the most like proud full circle moments of my life. Like, I have never felt so grateful and complete in the moment that I did in that moment, because like I said, during the time that I stopped Star Stable, during the time that I stopped riding, I was going through a lot. I was going through a lot of personal things, a lot of just exterior things. Like, I really felt like my life was kind of crumbling in some aspects, and that it wasn't going to repair to what I wanted it to be. I wasn't going to be able to live the dream life of like riding horses and like doing things. And like going back and getting in the saddle again, like virtually in person, such a surreal experience and such a rewarding and grateful moment of my life. So yeah, that is kind of the whole story of how I got back into Star Stable, and how, like, I feel like when people say this game has changed their life, it's very individual for every person, but Star Stable, like, I could literally just sit here and cry to you guys about how much this game has changed my life, because without me logging in, and as unfortunate as the sickness has been during this time, I'm also extremely grateful for it, because it pushed me to get involved in Star Stable again, to meet all of you wonderful people, to create a community and a platform that has grown to expectations that I never even had and imagined, and I'm so grateful for that. And by doing that and getting back involved in the Star Stable community, I pushed myself to get over my fears and anxieties and get back into in real life riding, and my life has just completely taken a 180, all because of a virtual horse game. And I'm just really, really grateful for it. Like, there is no words to explain the amount of gratefulness and gratitude I feel for this game and this community and everything in it. And at this point, honestly, I'm just rambling on, but the series is called Reputation Rambles, so it's fine. But yeah, I'm just really excited, because the time that I spent away from the game, I missed so much, but it also makes me excited because now that I'm back in the community, there's so much that's going to happen in the future, and so much we're going to grow as a community, grow as a game. I'm going to grow as a rider, and it's just all possible because the sickness occurred, which is crazy. So it's kind of proof that everything really does happen for a reason, and I'm really glad that averydawnside was revived and saw another day, another light, another path in her life in game, and it's allowed me to explore a path in my life in real life. So I will not blabber on anymore. That is my Star Stable story. I am very, very grateful for it. It's been quite the journey, but again, wouldn't change it for the world. So happy to be here, so happy to be a part of this amazing community, and really, really excited for the future with it. So yeah, that is the end of today's video. Go ahead and comment down below a little bit about your story. I love hearing how you guys got introduced into the game, introduced into my channel, and just so much more. But without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you soon. I love you all. Bye!